The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. More COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in the Philippines through the COVAX facility. Let's get more details on this. Ryan Ang is joining us live from NAIA Terminal 3. Ryan, give us the latest.
Yes, Riza, it was almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon when Singapore Airlines Flight SQ910 carrying more than 2 million doses of Astrazeneca vaccine from the COVAX facility landed at NAIA Terminal 3. This is the single biggest delivery from the WHO-led COVAX facility, consisting of 2,030,400 doses of Astrazeneca vaccines. After the stop at Bay 114, the vaccines were carefully unloaded from the plane before being disinfected and carefully placed in a refrigerated truck bound to the PharmaServe warehouse in Marikina City. Several health and government officials witnessed the arrival of the vaccines. To date, the country has already received a total of more than 7.5 million COVID-19 vaccines, which include those procured by the government as well as donations from the Chinese government and the COVAX facility. This include 2,556,000 doses, 5 million Sinovac doses, and 15,000 Gamaleya doses. As of now, all of the 525,000 doses of AstraZeneca that arrived in the Philippines have already been administered. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. says these vaccines will be given to 80 groups nationwide, and majority will be for those areas with higher attack case and higher active cases. He also assured that the 500,000 individuals awaiting their second dose will receive their jobs. The vaccines will be deployed immediately tomorrow after these have been all accounted for. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III also announced the arrival of 193,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine on Monday. Riza.
Thank you for that report and stay safe. That's Ryan Ang reporting live from NAIA Terminal 3. Now, still on AstraZeneca, the vaccine can now be used again for all ages. This after the Food and Drug Administration last month suspended its use on those aged below 60 due to reported adverse effect of blood clotting. The health department said they arrived with the decision following reports from their all-experts group in the Philippine College of Hematology and Transfusion Medicine. The groups found that there is currently no known risk factors for the rare blood clotting. There's also no reported case of vaccine-related blood clot in the country so far. But the DOH said they will ramp up post-vaccination surveillance to mitigate the risks. Now, here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Agriculture Department will be testing 3 antiviral drugs, including ivermectin, as possible cure to the African swine fever. Secretary William Dar says the trials will be conducted for 3 months. GSIS will be providing more payment channels to its members. Instead of over-the-counter payments at GSIS office, members may now pay their contributions and loans through Bayad Center outlet nationwide. The agency also grants a 6-month moratorium on loan amortizations. And the Civil Service Commission will issue a refund for registered examinees of the March 15, 2020 pen and paper test that was canceled due to the pandemic. Examinees may claim their refund of 500 peso application fee beginning this month in person to the CSC office or through banks or remittance facilities. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The Environment Department is reminding the public to properly dispose or use face masks to prevent risks of COVID-19 transmission. Environment Undersecretary Benny Antiporda said used face masks should have a separate labeled container from other solid waste. Antiporda, who is also a COVID survivor, said proper disposal of used face masks can help garbage collectors from contracting COVID-19. Environment Secretary Roy Simato added that the disposal of face masks will also have an impact on our environment. He noted that these medical litters have now affected terrestrial and aquatic animals. The situation in India keeps getting worse as the country reported more than 4,000 new COVID-19 deaths. This is the country's highest single-day COVID-19 fatality so far. Now, the overall death toll in India is now at 240,000. Cases rose by over 401,000, bringing a total of 21.9 million cases recorded in India since the start of the pandemic. India's southern state of Tamil Nadu has been placed under lockdown to prevent the rising number of COVID cases. The second wave of the pandemic in India brought its healthcare system to the brink of collapse as more Indians beg for hospital beds and oxygen tanks. The so-called double mutant COVID-19 variant first detected in India continues to drive up transmission in the South Asian country. Let's listen into what experts know so far about the variant of interest in this Bloomberg video.
So the new mutant variant has been called a variant of interest by the World Health Organization. Now, what we do know about this variant is that it's more transmissible, but thankfully not more deadly. What that means is that it can infect more people quickly, but it may not necessarily trigger more deaths. And that's the good part of the news. It is supposed to be one of the possible causes that may have triggered India's deadly second wave, because the sudden surge that we saw in India in the past 6 weeks in the number of cases, while social distancing norms and masking up and all those things could be other contributing factors, but the variants seem to be having a role to play in this. The good news is that vaccines seem to work against this variant. They are creating antibodies and they are able to prevent severe infections, which can trigger hospitalizations and deaths. The not so good part of the news, the bad news is that given the size of India's COVID outbreak, the sheer viral load, the number of people who are infected and dying, that is bound to create more mutations. India is like a fertile ground for viruses to mutate in the normal course anyway, given how packed the populations are. But especially a virus that's as transmissible as this may have second and third generation variants, and that is something the scientists are more worried about. One thing that the government has picked up on is genome sequencing, and the one thing they need to do more is a mass surveillance. Mass surveillance of genome sequencing, just keep mapping out the virus from positive COVID samples across the country. That's the only way you can map the next set of mutants. Where are they coming up? Which part of the country? What is the exact nature of mutation? Now, not all mutations are harmful. Some are just harmless, but some of them make them more deadly, more transmissible, and those are the ones that need to be mapped and filtered out. The data needs to be shared globally among scientists, and that's the only way that we can essentially stay up to date with the virus and not play catch up.
Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.